adding in being responsible for the teen zone. So that this just updates that language and takes out instructing patrons to use the computers, because that's more left over from when this position was potentially going to be over adult services.
Okay. Okay, does anybody have any questions regarding the adding the teen zone to the?
It just looks like it's cleaning up language to fit what we want to do. So I think it's good.
Okay, so does anyone have a motion to accept the
I'll
change?
make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
That
All in
Jane and
favor?
Mary.
Yes.
Thank you.
And all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Then there's another one of 5212 that is regarding the librarian, that is changing wordage also.
Right.
Just kind of cleaning that one up.
Yep. Clean that one up. Adding in that this person is also evaluating, selecting, and weeding adult fiction, not just nonfiction, and cleaning up information about the kind of programming we want them to do.
So does anyone have any questions on that one?
No.
If not, does anyone want to make a motion to accept the changes as shown for 5212, position of librarian 2?
I'll move approval.
Second.
All in favor? Signify by saying
Aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next one I have coming up here is 3510. Does that work for everyone? Collection development?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is it was adopted and then revised, and it's just to expand the current policy that it'll give more transparency to the selection process. So.
Yes. Our new reference librarian took the initiative to expand upon our reference collection development policy, and I appreciate her doing that.
Yeah, that was.
I thought this was amazing. All the stuff that goes into this, I was amazed.
Mhm.
A lot
Yep.
to it.
Does anyone have any questions on any of these things that are?
No.
And
So
if
did
not,
she
oh, go ahead.
redo this?
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Did someone read? Oh, there it is. I finally found the part that changed. Okay, sorry. Very detailed.
Mhm.
As would be in the reference section.
Well, that's great. Do you want a motion?
Yes, if no one has any questions, if someone would like to make a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion. We approve this one.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Is anyone opposed? Motion carries. The next one I have coming up, 3260, the disaster plan. That's we're adding a disaster plan so that when disasters happen, we know what the plan is. So, so we're not caught as off guard as everyone was.
Yeah, this is more just to refer people, hey, go look at the document, which is a lot bigger than one page.
Right.
That's what I figured, because I thought we're not looking at the disaster plan, are we? We're just.
No, we have, the library has had a disaster plan since at least the late 90s. And I started working on it as assistant director, and Jessica finally finished it up. And it's a big, thick document, but there was nothing in the policy manual referring anybody to the disaster plan. So we thought we should probably add one in so that we have an official record of, hey, this thing exists. If there's a disaster, refer to it, please.
Did you put pandemic information in it?
We did. We already have one page for pandemic influenza, and now I'm creating a new page for COVID. So
yes, and I remember when I was adding that in, thinking, "Oh my God, I hope this never happens."
I know, right?
Wow.
I thought it was such a long shot.
Wow.
In there, that's awesome.
So I'm sorry if I jinxed us all.
Thanks, Jessica.
So does anyone have any questions? Does anyone want to make a motion to add this to the policy?
I'll move that we add it to the policy.
Second.
All in Figner. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Now I have a revision of code 5560s, employees and volunteers posting on social media. I know it was adding volunteers to that, adding in that you're not talking about the library on social media and in blogs or that. So I don't.
Is this referring to like people's individual posts on Facebook or something, or is it the library's social media page?
This is referring to people's individual pages, or if they as an individual post on the library's page. So
Right.
It's about employee behavior.
Right. So the title of this was already employee and volunteer posting, but there was nothing in here about volunteers. So I've added that language. And then this, I know we shouldn't make policies to address specific situations, but we did have a specific situation, and we discussed amongst ourselves that really we should expand this out to make it a little bit more definitive of what we expect from the employees in terms of social media. It hasn't been touched for 5 years anyway, so it's probably time for an update, and just to make it clear that, especially in cases where we're dealing with situations involving people's direct medical conditions and HIPAA and ADA restrictions, I don't want anybody to think that they can post to social media, hey, so-and-so has COVID-19 at the library. So that didn't happen, but I just think it would help everyone if this policy was a little bit clearer in those aspects.
Have you had it reviewed by an attorney?
I have not, but I could.
when I was in the schools, we did dismiss an employee, which is difficult because of use of social media. But I remember it's a very dicey thing about freedom of expression and defamation of an employee or an institution. Luckily, we had a policy that stood up. I can't remember all that needed to be in it, but I just remember that.
Well, one of the things we have in this policy is to state that employees need to make sure that they either don't include their employer information in their profile, or they state that everything they say on their account is theirs alone and not, the voice of the library. So that's.
I saw that. I just wonder what could the city lawyer look at that, or?
Sure.
I was
Yeah,
going
I
to
can
say,
ask
why
him to
don't
look
you, Jennifer, why don't you reach out to Mr. Mockbee and have him take a look at it? Because I think Mark has a really good point here. Hope we never are faced with that situation, but if we are, let's just make sure we're
Sure.
where we need to be. Thank you.
And I'm not
Yep,
opposed
not
to
a
having
problem.
policy on it either. I just think. we want
Yeah,
to-
me too.
That's a really good idea.
Yep, not a problem.
Okay, so we'll table this for this meeting then.
Yes.
Okay.
The next one we have 5575 use of computer and internet use. Took out verbiage and added in that when the only devices they can use are their personal or the public computers during their break time, not probably their work computer. So is that correct?
Yes, yes. And then removing the old language referring to link and one thing and another, like that says it was written in 97. It hasn't been updated since.
Yeah.
So it's taking out that language and then adding in that they can use their personal devices or public computers during their lunch breaks.
So does anyone have any questions on this one?
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
All in favor? I did it again. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Sydney, who seconded that one? Please, I didn't hear.
I did, Jane.
Jane, okay,
Sorry,
thanks,
it was
Jane.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
And I think we have one more. Is that correct?
2 more.
4?
Two more.
Oh, 2. Okay. Oh, 5538 employee name tags. Looks like you're taking out their first and last name on employees and just having their first name only.
Except for management.
Teresa had stated that her preference was for managers to have their first and last name on their name tags. It was contested a couple times because it wasn't in the official policy. So I also feel that department heads should have first and last name. So we decided to make it official in the policy. And then again, to have some consistency with the rest of the staff, first name or their preferred first name in case they have a nickname or a middle name they like to go by instead.
Do they
Why-
wear name tags now? Do you wear name tags now?
Yes.
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 And we're looking to purchase some new name tags. Right now we make them in-house and they look like temporary name tags
Visitors
that you
ones.
yeah, that you would get at if you were volunteering somewhere or something, or like a backstage pass. I'd like something that looks a little bit more professional.
What's the reason for the last name? Wouldn't they have that information available on the website if they needed to know the manager's name? Or,
It's on their website. It's on their business card. I think it's just a formality.
Professional position. So
Yeah.
I like that. I think
Okay.
it shows a sign of professionalism. I like that.
So does anyone have any questions about the name tag?
I'll make the motion that we approve.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? And 5213, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, library assistant 1. Jennifer, do you want to explain the background of
Yeah.
this? This is
Yeah.
new.
Let me,
This is
sure.
new.
So we
Or
did
no.
add a position to the adult services department, and then that person has been moved with the restructure down to teen zone. So what we're looking at with adding this job description is not to then add another whole person into our total amount of staff, but as a position maybe vacated in another department, perhaps if we want to switch some staff around, we could have this available. And what this position is someone who can specialize in readers advisory for adults and programming for adults. The staff that we have in that department right now focus, their specialties are genealogy and archives and reference requests. This would be a more specialized position. It would be part-time. And it's just that extra number back in that department and someone who can more specialize in helping with collection development, fiction, nonfiction, programming for adults.
Is this something that you're looking to do, or I mean to fill, or it's just there to have in case something happens?
I do know that we have, I haven't received his official notice yet, but he's going off to college, so I know he's leaving. And so when this person leaves in a different department, there is the potential that then we have this open position. And do we want to make some adjustments? And could this position, this library assistant position, be that new person?
Instead of filling the job that
instead of filling the job that he currently holds. So
It can't be the same then.
yes, but we would have to look at workload and pay and whatnot before we offer that position. But since I know he's leaving, and we actually, Jessica and I wrote this up, a couple months ago. And I think we intended to bring it to the last policy committee meeting in March that got canceled. So, and at that point, we weren't sure that this person was actually leaving, but now we know he is. So.
And is it a full-time or a part-time?
It's part-time. It would be part-time.
So basically, you'd be getting rid of that position and replacing it with this one. So you just want this approved so that you can do that.
Yes. If we decide to move forward with this, it's ready to go. And if we don't decide to move forward with it, maybe we'll do it later on down the road.
Okay. So does anyone have any questions about that?
I had a question. What is the Cassie desk?
That's the
Go ahead.
Oh, that's the desk that is, well, when we're in the building, it sits right outside the conference room. And so that person assists the public computer usage and helps sign them up for computer time.
Okay, yeah, that little desk right outside the room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
I just wondered what that was.
Sure. Good question. Anyone else have any questions, concerns? Does anyone want to make a motion to it?
I'll move that we put this in the policy.
I'll second.
Is anyone opposed? Oh, no, all in favor. I forgot that one. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Can forget I don't anything. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, I think that did it, right? Coming back. Was that all of them?
That's it.
From the,
Mhm.
okay, all right.
Oh,
And if I would understand correctly, our actual board meeting got moved, correct?
Yes, we
Um,
decided to keep that to the 28th, right, Susie?
We can do it next Tuesday. Amber and I are ready. Mostly ready. So it's up to you. We'll be ready by Friday to send.
I can't, I can't be there next Tuesday because I'm having a procedure done on my right leg. And Mark has graciously said he will share the meeting. When Jennifer asked me about it, I just thought rather than trying to say again, okay, now we're going to change it again, that if it's okay with you, we'll just go ahead and leave that as it were, unless somebody has a problem with it. Otherwise, that gives Susie a little bit more time and Amber to get things lined up, and we don't have to try to tell people we told you this, but now we're changing our mind and back and forth. So
Okay, so it is saying next week.
we're saying 28th.
28th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that way what we moved it to, since
Yeah.
Mark has agreed to take over.
Yes. Thank you, Mark. I'm fine with keeping it at the 28th then.
Did it get posted that it's moving?
No, not yet.
Is that still in time?
I'll
Is
fix
it-
it when we're done here.
Yeah.
It is
will
enough
we
time.
try,
Yes, it's enough time.
will we try to be in person on that one if we can?
We can try.
I was gonna say, I think if the library is open, they certainly will try, Mary.
Yeah.
It'll be easier on everybody.
Okay. If anyone has any other questions, do we have a motion to leave this meeting or?
Not
It's a
really.
motion to adjourn.
Yeah, just motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Does anyone have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right,
Thank you.
Okay.
thanks. Have a good
Thanks,
night.
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye,
Thanks,
everyone.
everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for your time.
And thanks for putting up with